I never imagined I could be the woman who ruins her own life. I tried to be a good wife and mother. Life can unravel even the tightest threads. Sometimes, you don't see how lost you are until it's too late to return. This is my confession, a struggle to understand my choices and the lives I broke. A tale of love, betrayal, and perilous boundaries blurred. My son's heartbreak shattered me, igniting my own downfall. I'm Evelyn Harper, once the woman everyone admired. I thrived as a real estate agent, lived in a lovely suburban home, and had a husband who cherished me. After 15 years of marriage, Michael and I chose to adopt a child. After years of trying, multiple miscarriages, and failed treatments, we came to terms with the painful truth. It wasn't meant to be. Adoption was our second chance, a path to the family we always dreamed of. That's when we met Lucas. At 16, he entered our lives, a quiet, brooding boy whose painful past tugged at my heart. He drifted through foster homes, never finding a place to call his own. Michael and I believed we could offer him the stability and love he had long been missing. We had no idea how profoundly he would transform us, especially me. At first, everything felt perfect. Lucas was shy, but gradually, he started to reveal himself to us. His quick wit and sharp mind made him feel like family in no time. Michael and I cherished him, striving to heal the wounds of his past neglect. As the months passed, an unsettling realization took hold. Lucas was deeply connected to us. He was deeply connected to me. He trailed me through the house, clinging to my every word. He'd sit beside me, our legs touching, and a flutter in my chest would ignite, inexplicable yet undeniable. I convinced myself it was insignificant. He was a boy starved of a mother's love. I was his only chance at love. I felt it, there was something deeper. His gaze held a depth that stirred something within me. The gaze was wrong, unsettling for a son towards his mother. His eyes held a hunger, a longing that twisted my stomach with guilt and an unnamed feeling. Michael saw it as well, but kept silent. He shot me sideways glances whenever Lucas was near. His jaw clenched, frustration simmering beneath the surface. He was clearly uneasy, yet unsure how to speak up without hurting Lucas. We both acted like everything was okay, even as the tension in our home suffocated us more each day. That night altered everything. Lucas was off today, unusually quiet. His eyes flicked to me when he thought I was unaware. I asked him if something was wrong. He shook his head, mumbling about being tired. I never pushed him. I thought he would share when the time was right. That evening, Michael worked late while I cleaned up the kitchen after dinner. Lucas seemed to be in the living room watching TV. Or so I believed. I didn't notice him until he was almost on top of me. His breath lingered, warm on my neck. I spun around, heart racing, and there he was, inches away. I could see the stubble on his chin and the way his Adam's apple moved as he swallowed. "Lucas," I whispered, my voice shaking. "What's happening?" No response came. He gently brushed a strand of hair from my face. His fingers brushed my cheek, a moment suspended in time. My heart raced, echoing in the silence, begging to be heard. I should have pushed him away, should have said it was wrong, but I stayed silent. I stood still, breathless, as he kissed me. It was a kiss filled with longing, far from innocent. It was a hunger, a desperation, overflowing with the longing and pain he'd held within for ages. And God help me, I kissed him back. In that instant, he was just a kiss, and nothing else mattered. As he pulled away, we gasped for air, our faces burning with a mix of shame and longing. I wanted to warn him this would never happen again, but the words stuck in my throat. I ran to my room and locked the door, shutting out the world. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wrestling with the thought that it was just a mistake, a fleeting moment of weakness I could leave behind. Yet I felt the truth within me. That kiss ignited a dark, dangerous longing within me that I couldn't suppress. I wished to forget, but deep down, I understood this was just the start. In the aftermath of that first kiss, guilt and confusion clouded every moment. I steered clear of Lucas, immersing myself in work and chores to escape my thoughts. No matter how hectic life got, he was always on my mind. His lips on mine replayed endlessly, a haunting reminder of my actions and my desires. Lucas appeared equally torn. He stayed away, yet I felt his gaze on me in every shared space. A tension hung between us, thick and suffocating. Michael saw it undeniably. He could see. He stayed silent, and I lacked the courage to speak up. That night, everything changed. Michael was away for a work conference, leaving me alone with Lucas. All day, we danced around each other, avoiding the unspoken truth looming between us. By evening, the tension reached a breaking point. I poured a glass of wine, seeking solace in its embrace. On the couch, I stared blankly at the TV. Then Lucas entered the room. At first, he was silent. He stood there, his piercing blue eyes locked on me. At last, he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Evelyn." His voice wrapped around my name, sending a shiver through me. "It's time for conversation." I sipped my wine, seeking calm in the chaos. "What is it about?" He moved in, hands buried in his pockets. "Guess what?" I knew, but I couldn't confront it. "Lucas, this is a mistake," I whispered, my voice shaking. "What occurred that night? A mistake was made. We must prevent it from happening again." He shook his head, anguish etched on his face. "It was intentional." "It truly wasn't. This feeling has lingered for so long, Evelyn." I struggled to find the words. I gazed at him, my heart racing. "Lucas, you are my son. This is unjust." "I'm not your son," he shouted, his voice filled with intensity. "I'm not family. You weren't there for me. We're not truly family." His words struck me hard, leaving me breathless. I wanted to fight back, to prove him wrong, but inside, I felt the truth of his words. Lucas wasn't my own. He was a teenager we took in, a boy woven into our lives by fate, not by blood. Yet, that didn't change the fact that we were wrong. "Lucas, please," I pleaded, my voice trembling. "This is impossible. It's unjust." He moved in, eyes ablaze with passion. "I just don't care anymore. I adore you, Evelyn. I believe you love me as well." I tried to speak, but silence swallowed my voice. He was right, and that was the truth. I loved him deeply. Not with a mother's love, but with a woman's passion. That realization struck fear into my heart. Before I could react, Lucas stepped closer and kissed me once more. This time, I stayed. I kissed him back, fingers lost in his hair, as the wine glass fell away, broken and scattered on the ground. In that instant, everything else faded away. This isn't my marriage, my values, or the life I've fought to create. Lucas was everything. His presence ignited my soul. We went beyond kissing. Everything changed in an instant. Suddenly, we were in my bedroom, clothes strewn across the floor. It was wrong, deeply wrong, yet I felt nothing. After years, I finally felt alive and wanted. Wanted like never before. We lay in bed, our bodies entwined in the sheets. Lucas lay against my chest. His fingers danced softly across my skin. I should have felt guilt, shame. Yet, I was enveloped in an unexpected calm. This changes nothing, I told myself, trying to believe it. This must never happen again. Lucas raised his gaze to meet mine. His eyes were deep and intense. "It has, Evelyn. It will never end." I wanted to fight back, to prove him wrong, but I couldn't find the words. I always knew he was right. This was a repeated failure. This was just the start of something monumental. A change that will alter our lives forever. In the aftermath, secrecy and guilt consumed every moment. Lucas and I danced around each other all day. Keep Michael in the dark. At night, with the house silent and Michael dreaming, we surrendered to our desires. I knew it was wrong, yet I couldn't help myself. Lucas was an obsession. A drug I couldn't escape, no matter my efforts. Michael was completely in the dark. He remained unaware of the brewing tension at home. He was so consumed by his work that he missed the silent connection Lucas and I shared when we thought we were alone. I could see the cracks in our marriage. Michael and I were once inseparable, but now an unbridgeable distance looms between us. I convinced myself it was temporary. Everything would return to normal once Lucas left. Yet I felt the truth lurking beneath. That evening, everything shifted. Michael returned home early from work. His face was ghostly and strained. The stress was weighing on him, and it was becoming evident. I was in the kitchen, cooking dinner, when he entered and took a seat at the table. "We need to talk," he said, weariness lacing his words. I stood still, heart racing. Did he discover Lucas and me? Was this the moment it all fell apart? "What's the matter?" I asked, fighting to keep my voice steady. Michael sighed, his hand raking through his hair. "I'm Lucas. He's in trouble." Relief washed over me, quickly shadowed by guilt. "What are you saying?" "Today, I received a call from his school," Michael said. "He's been disruptive, missing classes, and getting into fights. They fear for him." My brow furrowed, thoughts swirling. Lucas was a model student, quiet, obedient, and always striving for excellence. This was so unlike him.
Why did they say that?
Absolutely. Michael sighed, disbelief washing over him. "No, but I believe it relates to his history. It's been incredibly tough for him, bouncing from one foster home to the next. He might be finding it hard to adapt." I nodded, yet a deeper truth lingered in my mind. Lucas's odd behavior worried me, but I thought it was just the weight of our affair. Is there more beneath the surface? After Michael fell asleep, I slipped into Lucas's room. He sat on the bed, eyes fixed on the wall, a vacant look on his face. I sat next to him and placed my hand on his shoulder. "Lucas, what's happening?" Inquired softly. "Your dad shared details about the school. What's causing this behavior?" He hesitated to respond. He turned to face me, slowly. His eyes brimmed with anger and pain. "I can't do this anymore," he said, voice shaking. "I can't keep faking that all is well when it's not." My heart shattered. "What are you saying?" He rose and started to pace the room. His fists tightened in anger. "This is breaking me, Evelyn. I love you, but I can't continue this way, hiding and deceiving Michael. This isn't fair to either of us." A lump tightened in my throat. "Lucas, he interrupted, his voice escalating. "Your voice doesn't matter here. You initiated this. You kissed me that night. I can't stop thinking about you, about us. It's just not right, Evelyn. It's deeply unjust." I was overwhelmed with emotion as his words sank in. "I began this. I crossed an unforgivable line. Now Lucas faced the consequences." "I'm sorry," I whispered, my voice trembling. "I never wanted to cause you pain." Lucas paused, meeting my gaze, his face softening. "I understand you didn't mean to, but it still happened. I'm lost and unsure of my next step." I grasped his hand, holding on fiercely. "We'll find a way, Lucas. United. I swear." Yet, as I spoke, I felt the hollowness within my words. This mess had no easy escape. The damage is irreversible. I desperately hoped for a solution, but deep down, I sensed disaster was inevitable. In the weeks that followed, tension and secrecy consumed everything. Lucas and I carried on, but guilt consumed us both. We struggled to maintain control around Michael, but the act was becoming unbearable. The pressure was mounting, and I felt the walls closing in. That night, everything fell apart. Michael was off today, unusually quiet. His eyes flicked to me when he thought I was unaware. I tried to dismiss it, convincing myself he was just overwhelmed by work, but inside, I felt something was off. After dinner that evening, he invited me to join him in the living room. "We need to talk," he said, his voice thick with feeling. My heart shattered. I saw it approaching, yet I felt unprepared to confront it. I sank into the couch, hands shaking in my lap, waiting for him to say something. Michael inhaled deeply. His eyes brimmed with anguish. "Text, I know about you and Lucas," he said, his voice barely a whisper. The ground vanished beneath me. My mind raced for an excuse, a way to justify it, but deep down, I knew it was futile. My face revealed everything. "Michael," I tried to speak, but he interrupted me. Don't, he pleaded, his voice trembling. Stop explaining. I've known for some time. I couldn't accept it. His words struck me, and tears welled up in my eyes. When did you find out? From the start, he whispered, his voice empty. Your glances, your gentle touches, they spoke volumes when you thought I wasn't there. I tried to deny it, but the truth was undeniable. A wave of guilt and shame washed over me. Michael, I deeply regret this. I never wanted to cause you pain. He simply shook his head. His eyes brimmed with rage and sorrow. But you did, Evelyn. You wounded me deeper than I ever imagined. And Lucas, oh Lucas, he's just a child. How could you betray him like this? Just as I was about to speak, Lucas entered the room. He stood still, shock etched on his face. His eyes flickered between me and Michael. What's happening? He asked, his voice shaking. Michael rose, his face drained of color, seething with rage. Your mother and I have been talking about your recent behavior, he said, his voice icy. Why have you been missing classes and getting into fights? Lucas's eyes filled with fear. I have no idea what you mean. Don't lie to me, Lucas, Michael said, his voice escalating. I understand everything that's happening. I know about you and Evelyn. Lucas's face drained of color as he stepped back, hands shaking. I don't, Michael said, his voice trembling with rage. Stop explaining. Your actions are inexcusable. I rose, heart racing fiercely. Michael, I beg you. This goes beyond just Lucas. I share the blame too. Michael faced me, his eyes burning with anger and disbelief. You are his mother, Evelyn. You were meant to keep him safe, not this. His words struck me hard, and tears flowed freely. I understand, Michael. I realize I made a mistake. I love him deeply. My feelings are beyond my control. Michael shook his head, disgust etched on his face. This isn't love, Evelyn. I can't even describe this. It's just not right. It's deeply unjust. Lucas moved closer, desperation etched in his eyes. Michael, I beg you. This was never my intention. I care for Evelyn deeply, but hurting you is never my intention. Michael's face contorted in agony. I feared he might shatter. His expression hardened as he stepped back, eyes icy. Leave, he commanded, his voice shaking with fury. Leave my house, both of you. I was hit hard, breathless and stunned. Michael, I beg you. Please don't. Get out, he shouted, his voice reverberating in the silence. I never want to see either of you again. Lucas and I were paralyzed, stunned, as Michael walked away, leaving us in silence. The front door slammed, and despair flooded my heart. Everything was gone. Family, home, life. Gone in a heartbeat. It was entirely my fault. After Michael's ultimatum, pain and regret consumed every moment. Lucas and I settled into a tiny apartment on the town's edge, a stark contrast to the cozy home we once shared with Michael. The walls closed in, the furniture bare, and the air thick with our losses. We did our best, yet guilt and shame lingered, always just below the surface. Lucas had become a mere shadow of who he once was. The vibrant, passionate young man I loved has vanished, leaving behind a silent stranger, lost in his own world. I reached out to comfort him, but he pushed me away each time. It's all my fault, he whispered one night, his voice empty. If I hadn't allowed this, none of this would exist. I reached for his arm, but he recoiled. Lucas, you're not alone in this. I share the blame too. He shook his head, eyes brimming with anguish. Absolutely not, Evelyn. You were my everything. You were meant to shield me, to lead me, but you allowed this to unfold. You allowed me to destroy it all. His words pierced me, igniting a wave of guilt and shame. He was correct. I let him down in the most devastating way. I crossed an unforgivable line, and now we both suffer the consequences. Weeks became months, and the weight of our realities settled in. Michael initiated the divorce, and it was a harsh and rapid process. He let it all go, no fight for the house, no battle for the money. He wanted to be free of me, and I understood why. On a cold, gray morning, the final decree arrived. I sat on the floor of our tiny apartment, clutching the papers, feeling as if my life had ended. Lucas was fighting to stand strong. He left school and got a job at a grocery store, but it was obvious he was merely existing. He hardly spoke to me, and when he did, it was only to attack, to hold me responsible for all that had fallen apart. "You destroyed everything for me," he whispered that night. His voice shook with fury. "You stole my chance at a normal life and a family." I wanted to confront him, to remind him he was involved, but deep down, I knew it would change nothing. I had shattered his life. I took a fragile young man and turned our bond into something toxic, and now we both suffer the consequences. One evening, while tidying up after dinner, a knock echoed at the door. I opened it to see Michael, his face pale and drawn. My heart raced, and for a fleeting moment, I believed he had come to forgive me, to return to me. Yet his eyes revealed a different truth. "I must speak with Lucas," he said, his tone icy. I stepped aside, allowing him into the apartment. Lucas sat on the couch, eyes vacant on the TV, until Michael entered. His eyes widened, and he stood, hands trembling. "Michael," he murmured, his voice a fragile breath. Michael remained silent initially. He stood there, staring at Lucas, torn between anger and sorrow. He slowly reached into his pocket and pulled out a paper. "I've thought a lot," he said, his voice thick with feeling, "and I know I can't just erase you from my life. You're my son, Lucas. I care about you deeply." Lucas's eyes brimmed with tears as he stepped forward. "Michael, But he cut me off, his voice resolute. "I can't forgive you."
Not now.
"Perhaps never. I've made a choice for you." He passed the paper to Lucas, who accepted it with shaking hands. "A one-way bus ticket to a distant city. If you stay here, I can't promise I'll ever see you the same way again," Michael said. "If you leave and start anew, perhaps we can find a way to heal from this." Lucas gazed at the ticket, shock draining the color from his face. He nodded slowly. "I'll go," he said, voice shaking. "I'm walking away." Michael's expression softened, and for a fleeting moment, I believed he would embrace Lucas. He nodded and walked away. "Goodbye, Lucas," he uttered, his voice thick with sorrow. He vanished, leaving Lucas and me in the apartment, his words heavy in the silence. Lucas departed the next morning, bags in hand, his face a mask of resolve. I urged him to reconsider, to see that we could find a way forward together. He simply shook his head. "I can't stay here, Evelyn," he said, voice shaking. "I must begin anew. I must learn to coexist with my past actions." I wanted to plead for him to stay, but deep down, I knew it was futile. I nodded as he walked out, leaving me alone in the apartment, amidst the ruins of our lives.